Welcome back to Hampton Downs. We change from V8 Focus to some rotary power. Certainly at the front of this field as an armada of Mazdas make their way out, all as a part of the Next End Tyre Series. Delighted to welcome back to commentary Mark Mallard, who's been wandering around the paddock area. And while we have one of the most cost-effective classes, and in terms of its footprint in New Zealand on the South Island and the North Island, there are North and South Island championships, we have a great roll-up, a great presence of these cars, and they are also mixed, not just the RX-8s, but you can see at the back of the field there, a couple of MX-5s. Great, fun little race car.
Yeah, another class that they have in this series. So they've got the two classes, the RX-8s and the MX-5s together, 40-car grid. What sight sounds that we have here. And yeah, as you said, South and North Island championships, but we also have that overall New Zealand championship that's been competed for today with a really close battle between Simon Baker and a young rookie who's been really showing out this year, Chris White.
And I think, if memory serves, it's Chris White Jr., his dad's Chris White Sr., is that right?
I believe so.
My memory's...
I think he's 15 out of the South Island.
Let's take a look at how they line up for race 2 of the weekend. Edger and Horn make up the front row. James Parker, Andrew Jackson, row 2. Leo Bolt and Warren Crowther on the third row of the grid. Leo's a guy that's heavily immersed in the championship in this class.
Yeah, he does so many good jobs for so many different people. You see Ben Stewart in 7th, Simon Baker in 8th, Sam Dashfield in 9th, and Rex Edwards in 10th. Now, that's a reverse top 10 from yesterday's results, so we're going to see cars from 10th trying to get through that field. Is going to be real important for them.
There we go. Chris White Jr. out of 13th in the 888. Now, Mark alluded to some point standings coming in, probably worth just covering off how things looked coming into the weekend here at Hampton Downs. Simon Baker was on top with 350, Chris White with 343. That's in the outright championship, just 7 points coming into it. What a close way to wrap out this series.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on those drivers. It's a tough thing as we got them lined up on the grid. Takes a little bit of time to get 40 cars on a grid though. But it's a great sight to see them here. And those rotary cars are going to scream.
Back of the pack is an old Aussie colleague in Dean Evans, who you might know from the Driven publication here in New Zealand. Most people probably would say good place to put the Aussie at the back of the grid. He's in that trademark black and gold machine, so a journo with a bit of experience in some circuit racing in Australia and I think even Targa competition and so on. Nice to have him back as a part of this. So the
Lights are red.
Davies is in the lane. We're set to go here for the first one of the day. Good start, particularly those on the second row. They seem to be able, Mark, to get those cars gripped up. They're almost, not quite.
They are very wide, you know them. One pulled out of it. Outside there, Warren Crowther making a couple of moves there. But it's a great start there as they come down to 2. A little bit of water offline, so it's tricky there under braking. The racing line on the outside for car 45's worked well to get them in and out of turn 2 and 3.
So you can see, look, some of them, there is still the level. Look at this commitment down the inside, and that right rear grabbing a damp patch of road. That was awkward for a moment. Gathers it up under brakes. Nice job. Little drier here as they approach the Dale ITM dipper.
Crowther's making some moves there, up to 2nd place from his 6th place starting place. He's our fast mover in this field. Ex-2K Cup champion actually for 2 years and making his move into the Mazdas. There's about 4 of the 2K Cup guys who have moved into this Mazda series, and they run a team called Team Stickman. They're looking for their 2nd podium, I was told as I met them this morning as they came into the track. But some good battles there. Kyle Gaines in the 61 IQ security car on the inside. But look at that flow of cars coming out. No one's got a break in that toe yet.
Love what this class stands for, because it basically takes a rotary powered machine which has got a bit of a cult following nowadays. In the past it's kind of been the older generation RX-7s and RX-3s and so on. A few of them battling away further down the field, and we're looking for the first of our competitors. Incidentally, Mark Braid is in there at the moment among the MX-5 runners. I'm not sure if he's class leader.
I think it's Oliver Sapsworth actually is currently there in the lead of that class. It's about 35th place, so it's a good battle there. We can see them in the background there. There's your driven car there at the front of that group actually.
Wow, so there might be a bit going on here in the... So is that Dean Evans who leads the way in that class? Well, clarify that for you just from timing. It's an older spec machine. That's a bit of you, isn't it?
Yeah, 111 driven car there. He is in the lead of that group, and he's got a little gap. He will be beside himself.
Good job.
Love the John Player look too of that car at gold and black is it evokes that Lotus,
doesn't it?
Some of the AMWs, great cars, but they're trying to make moves up here. He's using the toe. They're going to try and make a move. They're moving around in the background, but that's letting Dean get a little bit away.
So, next,
105 Marco Braden second, and then right behind there is a 145.
So they're all close, aren't they? As we saw when they joined us for the toe ball round of the championship as well. Yeah, great class, and it's not uncommon for them to rack up massive miles on these engines, but they're still good for this kind of Sunday competition.
Good is an understatement. They were 4 wide into the dipper yesterday. I mean, 4 wide is crazy any track on the track, but into the dipper 4 wide and made it get out the other side. So a little bit of smart driving there too, as we see one of the very old spec RX-7s that were the start of the Mazda brand for the RX range.
They had in Australia for many years a great club car category, and they were the front-running cars in it.
100% we had that here, and that's what's evolved from that to these RX-8s now with a bit newer cars, parts got harder and things like that, as we see a replay of Sapsworth going wide. But that battle at the front there, he's out the front, but he's starting to get pulled in by Braid.
To your point about Sapsworth there a moment ago, that just by getting maybe in a little bit hot, running a little wide onto the damper line, and it hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, and that damp line just doesn't go away because the racers aren't normally on it, and we're a little bit cool this morning, so it's creating a great thing. As we look, traffic, just getting through some of the, I think that's the guy who started out of pit lane, I think, coming back through the field. But out front, we've still got Crowther and Bolt as, lock up there is starting to feel the pressure of Braid catching quickly, and he's going to be worried about that RX-7 in front, slowing him up.
I think Dean runs an open face helmet from memory too, with a set of sunnies or goggles or something in that 111, that driven machine. So Braid,
I don't know anyone who would drive with an open face and sunnies. I mean, who would do that? Not me at all, either, would I?
No, exactly. I did a double take when I saw him yesterday. So
he's locking up brakes though consistently. He might have a brake bias issue, or he's flat spotted a tyre, and once you get that little mark on that tyre, these Nexon tyres are great, but when they have a problem is we've got Battles back up the front. Here's Simon Baker making the moves up the front. So it's just the same as in a road car. There is a blind spot, and unfortunately with Hans's wing seats and all that blind spot's even bigger in a race car. So when you're the car behind, you try and use that. As we see the battle there for that lead of our MX-5 class going well there, with Dean still leading, and he's got a little gap there now. He managed to pull out a little gap on Manu Braid.
Putting that 46 in between them is helping, and you're quite right about the 51, which did start from the lane. It trundled through the lane for some reason prior to the start of this race, Davies, and he's now gradually clawing his way in the RX-8 through the field. Nice job at the moment by Dean Evans. So the understandable differences between the two cars. Rotary to your left, 4-cylinder open top car. That'd be a bit of us on a Sunday afternoon, cars and coffee, or what do they call it? Hampton and gasoline.
Hampton and classics here at Hampton Downs.
Yeah. Bolt is in this class. David Ferguson's car, unfortunately, has not been able to rejoin with that.
Last lap bought out, though. We haven't got a safety car, so we are going to race to the finish here. Ecstatic. Here's your leader for the MX-5 class to come.
MX-5 class, and I mean, I'm an Aussie. You guys have welcomed me to your country, and this for the first one may go to an Aussie, but I think he's based in Hamilton nowadays, so he's kind of a...
Well, it's just like you Australians, you take all our good New Zealanders, so Dean's now a New Zealander.
Okay,
yeah, no, he's in. We brought you as well, Rusty, but no, anyone good that comes here we take, and yeah. If you're losing, then you're an Australian. As soon as we beat you, you're back to being Australian, though.
Okay, so we go back to...
He's going to be happy, isn't he?
What? Great job.
Wait for the fist pump as he comes over the line. He's a guy that just loves the sport, and that's why he's out here doing it.
Awesome job. So we'll head to the finish line. This massive field of cars here. It's 29th outright, but winner in the MX-5 class. Good job by Dean Evans. A great race result here, so we'll need to crunch those numbers for you. There you go.
We got the action there, and that is Marco Braid, unfortunately, into the side. Jeff Ritter there, he's one of our photographers who does a great job on rally and does so many different actual classes, does Jeff, and we've got that action replay nearly.
Great work. Highlights for you of the next entire Mazda Racing Series. First one on a Super Sunday here at Hampton Downs, and they were nearly 3 wide going into turn 1 to start the weekend. Horn off the start line was pretty handy in the 45, but there were some hard charges coming through, and the action with some damp patches off the ideal racing line, and those that were brave enough to kind of try and make moves, it paid dividends for them, didn't it?
Yeah, Crowther had to do those moves at the start. That's what he got that gap from, was getting that early moves. As we've seen those cars so sideways with that just little bit of wet, and they're trying to pass, and it's been absolutely interesting for us up here, hasn't it?
Well, and it was pretty exciting too, a little further back, the race within the race. We're talking about the MX-5 class, the Aussie, Dean Evans leading the way. The 195 went around. Man, this made our hearts race. Somehow Sam Dashfield held on to it. Dodd unfortunately makes contact with the wall, and then it gets a little worse for the Mag and Turbo entry. Damage to that right front. No dramas for Warren Crowther, who wins from Leo Bolt, who gets the fastest lap of the race on the run home.
Awesome work there from the Stickman team.
All right, now, who's our MX-5's winner? Dean Evans. Dean Evans over here. Dean, come over here, pal. Don't walk away from me. No, you can walk away, no. Now, last time I spoke to you, you had a win, I think, in Manfield. Is that right?
Yeah, I was on the podium at
That's
Manfield.
your podium, but you were genuinely excited.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you're racing, it's fantastic time to be actually in the race seat and doing what we love. So it's just such a great getaway, and be able to mentally, this is the calm, this is the happy place. So yeah, I mean, like, I've got to make sure my hair's done because I am in a hairdresser's car. But the MX-5s.
Hey, that is true, because my
Yes.
wife's a hairdresser and she owned one of these. That's okay.
Okay, we've got license to use that. But yeah, they are really, really good fun. I mean, they may be slower, but we are working just as hard as the other guys out there. And we're racing the tail end of the RX-8s and the RX-7s. Yeah, I'm hot and sweaty, but it's really, really good fun. Yeah, the driven MX-5 is going great. So yeah.
Mate, you were giving me too much information. Hot, sweaty, hairdresser's car.
Give a hug, yeah.
But I suppose the other thing too. Are you going to write this up for Driven about how you made the podium again, like you did last time? Because I noticed when you did Manfield, there was a story in Driven about it.
Yeah, but the story driven every single week. So yeah, rain, hail or shine, win, lose. Yeah, it's a great category. The Manawatu Car Club does a great job putting these MX-5s together, and we've got the next round, I think, in the winter series. So yeah, really, really good fun. So come and join the fun.
Nice work, champion.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Alrighty, that's it. So that's the first race, the Nexan Mazda Series. So much fun going. How much fun is he? Hey, he's Mr. Enthusiastic Dean from Driven. And of course, that's another podium of him, and you'll read about it in Driven. As he said, yeah, there's a bit of a hairdresser's cover. That's okay. My wife's hairdresser. We'll just leave that one there. All right.